Let's go! Today we're doing our preview film study on the Ole Miss Rebels. Obviously, beating them last year was absolutely amazing in a comeback effort. And one thing that's really stood out to me is their inability to get Quinshon Judkins going. In fact, Jaxson Dart, their quarterback, has had a better year running the football than by far the SEC's best running back returning, and right there you see he goes down easy. So to me, when I watch Ole Miss, one of the best aspects of their offense is 1st and 10. Okay, this is something that we've actually kind of sort of taken from them, where this receiver is running a go, this receiver is running some go. Oftentimes when we do it, it's this receiver going like this and then a deep over route right here. So you're flooding this unoccupied space right here, and that is an easy completion. You notice this Ole Miss offensive line, which has struggled, they pass protect better on 1st down, and look at that. Bang. Wide the frick open right there for Ole Miss to get a nice explosive play right here. And you see Lane's running with them. 5 is Franklin, the transfer from UTSA. Harris is 9, another good receiver from them, a transfer from Louisiana Tech. So just to let you know, this is it on 1st and actual 15 here. It's the same exact thing, except it's only one receiver running a vertical, and obviously 8, Malik Keith, who's no longer with the team. You see Greg Penn is able to see it late, but it's essentially the same exact concept, okay? So Lane is definitely the best at these types of routes, and you see this later in the drive. So now, this time, it's not a deep crosser. It's a quick fake pitch to Judkins, and Dart's job is to read this defender right now. If he absolutely falls back into the zone, all he's got to do is just throw it right here to Judkins. If he sinks up right here, you'll see that Harris, or I think this is Franklin, he's running just a simple little out, and all Dart has to do is throw that football right there to him. And once again, you'll see the protection is still pretty good. Okay, and you see that's an easy completion. So I think in this game, if I'm Matt House, I'm playing my corners tighter. In Alabama, they had their DBs off. Lane likes it when you play your DBs off, because this is him running the same exact play versus us last year. Okay, it's a fake quick pitch to the left. This vertical is going to carry both the corner and this safety, and that just opens up all this space right here for an easy completion. Now, their corner, McKinstry, did a good job getting off of it quicker and making a tackle, but still. All right, and to score their very first touchdown, they actually went to a QB draw right here from Jaxson Dart. He is their best running threat right now. He's been a better runner up to this point than Judkins, and obviously we've got to be mindful of his ability to run. A lot like KJ Jefferson last week, when we lost our pass rush lane integrity. You'll see it right here. The seas kind of parted. And to start this game, Ole Miss's offensive line did a really good job protecting, but as the game moved on, their pass protection really began. So you see right here on this 3rd and 12, if this quarterback was KJ Jefferson, he is able to obviously get off this arm tackle right here and potentially run for a lot of yards. Dart, he is a good athlete, not a great athlete. He is not someone that, is going to be very difficult to sack. The play you're definitely going to see Ole Miss run, especially with the trouble that we had guarding split zone stuff. And right here, they're split zoning an actual wide receiver. Play action fake right here to Judkins. Running game's not working, but they still respect him. And look at all the space in the flat for a wide receiver to make a play. And Alabama's DBs are really good, right? So our DBs have got to tackle better in the open field, but that's a nice gain right there on 1st. And this is what I mean by Dart just being very average. This is not a hard read at all, if you ask me. He just, and I've just noticed this throughout his career, midway through the second-ish is when he begins to fade in games, okay? This honestly is not really that difficult. Just throw this ball right here, okay? I know this corner is right here. He's expecting this linebacker to keep running right here with Judkins out of the backfield, but that's not what happens. He sticks with the wide receiver, so he probably should have thrown that football in the flats, and he just throws it into heavy coverage right there. So, once again, it's first down. We want them to run the football on first, right? Because we're expecting them to run the football on first with Quinshon Judkins. And you just see right here across the way, pretty much every Alabama defensive tackle and defensive lineman is dominating their assignments. This is really good Mekhi Wingo type of stuff right here, just squeezing down this middle, and there's just nowhere to go at all. So a lot of it's know about LSU just being a terrible, terrible third down defense. Well, if you get Ole Miss in third and long, this offensive line really begins to struggle, okay? I don't love Ole Miss's receivers this year. Right here, Alabama is just bringing a lot of people, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, to go up against their 6 blockers. So it's man coverage across the way with a safety over the top. And you could just already see this pressure already starting to come, right? And right here, obviously we don't want him rolling out to the right, but that was pretty much a clear hold. And obviously this is what we want. We want Harold Perkins in this situation to run down Jaxson Dart a lot like Dallas Turner does right here, okay? So now LSU in a similar spot. This is third and long. This is where we want Ole Miss to be. And this is a twist stunt like you saw just a minute ago. Mekhi Wingo going here, Harold Perkins going around, B.J. Ojulari going around here. I would like to see Braden Swinson in this role or Deshaun Womack in this role. And obviously we're just creating a ton of havoc here. And once again, the good thing about Jaxson Dart is you can lose contain and still chase him down if you have a freaking beast like Harold Perkins. Let's go! And then, of course, you get this iconic Harold Perkins image. So one thing I would really like to see from the LSU defense versus Ole Miss is Harold Perkins as the every down jack, and this alignment be some variation of Jefferson, Wingo, and Mason Smith. And this is essentially Dave Aranda's tight front here. So this would be obviously Fehoko, Lawrence, and Lawrence here, and then Tyler Shelvin here. So and as you can see, it just changes the math, right? And we're able to obviously chase this down backside with Micah Baskerville running this down and Harold Perkins also getting involved right there. Another adjustment that was made in the second half, and Brian Kelly actually brought this up in the press conference. You know what Ole Miss did versus Alabama and us? They were just torching us when we were playing off. Here we are with just 2 straight-up press corners, and once again, Harold Perkins as the jack linebacker. So Ojulari is not out there, and it just changes the math, right? I just want to show you one quick image really quickly. All right, so this is last week versus Arkansas, and you see Harold Perkins is not playing the edge. He is playing an off-ball outside linebacker, also in a modern defense, kind of sort of a nickel, like a defensive back role. So this would last year be someone like Sage Ryan or Greg Brooks or whoever it may be. And now teams are starting to spread things out, and they know more than likely LSU is not going to keep Harold Perkins in coverage. And now teams are prepared that Harold Perkins is going to be blitzing off the edge, okay? Now, once again, in the Ole Miss clip you just saw, let's bring it back right here, this would be where Harold Perkins would be lined up as the traditional jack instead of Braden Swinson and with 3 defensive line players. So it just changes the math. Let me show you. All right, they know if Harold Perkins is blitzing off the edge here, there's 2 things that you can do that you know will work. Number 1, you could throw in the direction of him blitzing. That is what they did to Armstrong earlier in this game for a huge down. Or you could just basically run away from him, and there's no way he's going to be able to catch him because he is also responsible for KJ Jefferson on the pull. Okay, so that makes the math a lot easier. Block these guys up front, get to the second level, and what do you have here? A clean hole to run through, okay? It's becoming a little stale and predictable with him playing all the way out in space. They know we're not going to probably keep him out in coverage out there, and they're getting huge runs off of it. All right, here's 2nd down and 6. Once again, they know more than likely he's coming on a blitz, and once KJ Jefferson sees that and he sees that this safety is center field, it's just predictable that all he has to do is take advantage of this man-to-man matchup, okay? And you see everything is just, we're getting absolutely no pressure anyway with him blitzing off the edge, and we're getting torched right here on a simple one-on-one throw. Okay. So last year, Harold Perkins obviously had Lane Kiffin talking about him in the post-game press conference, and earlier this week he was making a joke about how LSU has used Perk this year, and we get back to here. Okay. Now, it's important to note that LSU's rush defense is by far the worst in the SEC on a yards per carry basis, and we talk about now Harold Perkins being the every down jack. The biggest thing that people have concern with is him just running the football right at us. My retort to that would be we're not stopping the run at all anyway. So what I would do is get back to, once again, the Dave Aranda tight front, which is also what Matt House ran his final year at Kentucky. Have 3 thicker players play these middle gaps. Have Harold Perkins play the outside jack. Press our corners so we don't let Lane toy with us. And if it means playing Sage Ryan at the nickel, let's do it. Okay? Harold Perkins as the nickel, Sam, outside linebacker, whatever you want to call it, it's just not working. What did work was this, okay? Perk in his natural habitat coming off the edge, and even though he doesn't necessarily get good pressure here, remember, it's math, all right? We only have 4 guys rushing right here. We're still able to have all these guys back in coverage. Dart really just has nowhere to throw the football, and if you're playing Perk as that edge linebacker and you're just blitzing him nonstop, number 1, the defense knows what he's doing. Number 2, that means we have to commit 5 guys into the rush or back Ovia Gufu or Braden Swinson back out in the coverage. That hasn't worked. Or and then on top of that, it takes 1 less guy in the back end helping to defend the actual pass. Boom! I'm looking at you. So obviously in this preview film study, we have focused more on the defensive side of the things because that is the side of the football that needs the most work. Now, ironically, Ole Miss's edge QB spy, do-all everything linebacker is also number 4, and his last name is also Perkins. Suntarine, I think I'm saying his name correctly, Perkins. So Jalen Milroe, a lot like Jaden Daniels, wants to make things happen with his legs. Jaden is a better thrower than Jalen Milroe, but you see Perkins just kind of like Harold versus Bryce Young last year, ironically. He's just able to mow him down. Jaden is going to be facing some of that as well. So obviously, today we're focusing more on the defense and stopping Lane Kiffin's very potent offense. And even though they only put up 10 versus Alabama, they are still second in the SEC, only to us in yards per play. So obviously their defense, it's going to be really hard for them to stop us. I like our offense going up against their defense. I do think their defense will be a little bit better with them having Bama's old defensive coordinator now coaching them. They have been an overall solid unit. Their defense has been better than us, quite frankly. But simply put, with the way Malik and BTJ are playing, along with our offensive line, I know it's going to be on the road. Offensively, I think LSU will be just fine. But if you want my full thoughts on it, you can go to Patreon. Yes, you get my advanced preview there, patreon.com/LSU football. And everyone that signs up gets a bro card in the mail. Okay? We'll see ya. Let's freaking go. It is Power Hour LSU. Boom. And tonight we are doing salmon. Let's go.